Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back. Nice to have you here. I just coming to share some news with you. So let's get started. The first one I want to express Concerned Citizens Media on the protests going on in Washington D.C., New York, in Brussels, in a European country. The diaspora community, organized by different groups, by Ethiopian embassy, by Naaman Zallaka. He was a former chairman of ISAT and a senior member of Gunboat 7, by Pro Abiy media, and by anti-federalist group who want, one dominated party in that country. So many elements, members of the embassy, the diplomats supporting or working on behalf of Abiy Ahmed, and Eritreans who are supporting their dictator to stay like that, not demanding any change, let him stay like that, without election, without constitution, without any opposition party. So these are the groups called each other to show up in a strong number in the name of defending Ethiopia. But what they're doing is defending war crimes, genocides, and crimes against humanity. And this group also they have the threatening, intimidating message for European Union, for the United States of America, and for journalists for speaking up on behalf of the voiceless, for exposing the genocide, the war crimes, the crimes against humanity carried out in the Tigray war. So when you see the demonstrators showing up with different messages, like the United States, stop supporting terrorism, the same message for Europeans, and for the media, New York Times, CNN, and others, threatening them, showing up at their building with a threatening force. They have the message. So this is a threatening, a warning for freedom of the press, warning them not to report anything against Abiy Ahmed, against their dictators. So these are the message. The other message is intimidating the freedom fighters, those who are speaking up against Abiy Ahmed, against the dictators in Eritrea, showing one flag, that the old Ethiopian flag, which doesn't represent the current Ethiopian government flag, but they don't care anyway. The government never say anything. So these people, they have their own agenda, controlling that country under one system, suppressing the others. The Oromos are in jail in thousands. Oromo politicians are suffering under the current system, and they don't care about the free and fair election coming up. They just want Abiy or other, the other one seems the same like Abiy, to win and continue leading that country in trouble. So the strategy is very, very intimidating, threatening the, as I said, for European unions, for the United States and other international organizations for speaking up against the war in Tigray, all the genocide. So they are trying to cover it up for Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki, cover the crimes so they will not be responsible, so they will not be persecuted. So they try to change the image of the world, try to change for him, because they globally, Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki, they lost. They are considered as criminals. So these people, as I said, organized by all these different groups, Gunboat 7, Pro Abiy media, all these anti-democratic, anti-federalist group, all these are showing their force to intimidate others from speaking up, to change the reality on the ground. They want to, show up a rosy picture which doesn't exist, but they try to show up, Ethiopia can solve its own problem internally. No. When there is a human rights violation in any country, the international community has a responsibility to enter, to stop genocide, to speak against it. And the journalists, New York Times, CNN, BBC or others, they have the responsibility to expose the crimes. They cannot be intimidated. They cannot be threatened by this show of force by this group. So I don't think it's going to work for them. We will speak up, we'll continue to speak up against the crimes, we'll continue speaking up for the freedom, justice, equality in that country. We don't want domination of, the transfer of domination from one party to the other party. No, that was not the objective. That was not the objective. So freedom lovers, those who are fighting for equality and justice, to stop the suffering of all Ethiopians, to stop the command post in Benishangul, in Oromia region, to stop the war in Tigray, they must continue the resistance against this group. It is challenging, but we must continue, not be intimidated, not be threatened, especially the United States, the European Unions. They have to continue speaking up, and the media, they don't have to be intimidated, threatened. They have a freedom to report, to expose based on the realities. All the interviews from people running away from Tigray war. It's a created image, as they try to explain to the in their demonstration. No. It was confirmed by satellites images. It was confirmed by the victims of the rape, the victims of war crimes against humanity, evidence collected from those running from the conflict. So I don't think the image can be changed by intimidating others, by showing a big number. No, the reality will remain there, and they will be exposed again, and the independent investigation will be conducted. Those responsible for this war will be prosecuted, and freedom will rise up, justice will rise up for these people. So don't be intimidated, keep the resistance, come up, speak up against this group and for your people suffering back home. So that is my, the concerned citizens' comment about the protest going on in New York, DC, and the one going on in Brussels, European Union. So don't be intimidated. you have to speak up as long as the suffering continues in Ethiopia, and as long as your people are in jail, as long as no fair and free election in that country. So you have to keep speaking up. Journalists, don't scare, don't be intimidated. European Unions, America, don't be intimidated by this group organized by Abiy Ahmed, embassy employees, families, in the supporters of Dictator Isaias Afewerki of Eritrea. That cannot change the reality in the ground. They will be persecuted. They will be held accountable. So that is enough for this protest. So the next one, I have two more, then one or two videos, then I will finish up. So the other one is Mr. Deriba Kumsa or Jaal Marroo response to different media propaganda against his forces in Oromia. This is the interview conducted on Afan Oromo Voice of America. So let's read this, what he said. And another one is about stimulus check coming to your account. Okay. Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, responds to recent accusation in Oromia. The military arm leader of the Oromo Liberation Front, Jaal Marroo, also known as Deriba Kumsa, responded to various media and Ethiopian government accusation of OLF committing massacre in Horo Guduru in Walaga and the Guji zone in Oromia region. In the interview with the Voice of America Afan Oromo Service, Jaal Marroo said his forces are fighting with Amhara Special Forces in Oromia Special Force uniform. This is very serious. Jaal Marroo said his forces are fighting with Amhara Special Forces in Oromia Special Force uniform. This never happened before. So this is a new trend. These forces are sent to Oromia by the leaders with expansionist and with the agenda of reviving the old Ethiopia. Mr. Deriba said, these forces are armed to the teeth and have been fighting with their units at different fronts in Oromia. Mr. Deriba Kumsa said his forces have killed and captured these forces sent from Amhara region and confirms their identities through the IDs they found from the captives and the dead, plus from their language dialect. How they found they are from Amhara region? Through their identification and through identification IDs they got from captive soldiers and from those dead, plus the way they speak. Mr. Deriba or Jaal Marroo also said his forces have nothing to do with the killing of innocent children, mothers, and other peaceful civilians, regardless of their ethnicities. This is very important, he said. His forces have nothing to do with the killing of innocent children, mothers, and other peaceful citizens or peaceful civilians, regardless of their ethnicities. Whether they are Amhara, Oromo, or blah blah, they have nothing to do with that. If they are peaceful, they have nothing to do with the killing of these children, mothers, as claimed on different medias. Mr. Deriba added that his forces' objectives are crystal clear: to end the sufferings of Oromos on their own land and to liberate the region from oppressive regime. This is very important. I'll repeat. Their objectives are crystal clear. OLF objectives are crystal clear: to end the sufferings of Oromos on their own land and to liberate the region from oppressive regime. He also said that his enemies are those standing against their objectives described above. Those engaging them in armed conflict and the informants aiding them are the legitimate target. The target is those who are in armed uniform and those who are giving them information and aiding them, this armed group in uniform, not the civilians. They have nothing to do with the civilians. Informant, helping, supporting PP or supporting the Amhara special forces fighting them. So these are the legitimate target according to Mr. Diriba Kumsa. The resistance movement is against enemies of Oromos and Oromia region. Jaal Marroo even invited independent investigators to enter the region and verify these fake media and Ethiopian government claims against Oromo Liberation Front operations. So he invited, our operations are clear. Come over, see what we're doing. That's why I say, okay, we are not killing children. We are not killing mothers. We are not killing peaceful civilians. If you want to see, come over whom we are fighting. We are fighting the Amhara's special force and those forces sent by Abiy Ahmed and those who are supporting informant. Those are informant, PPs. And the informant in the society aiding and supporting those Amhara special forces and the forces sent by the Abiy Ahmed. So these are, according to him, are legitimate target, and OLF is not fighting against any peaceful civilians, whether Amhara, whether Gurage, whether Oromo. They have nothing to do with children killings. So he invited the international community to investigate, to come over. So this interview is available for who, if you are interested. It's available in Kelo Multimedia Service and VOA. So that is the message from that interview. He clarifies OLF has nothing to do with the killing of civilians, children, mothers, as reported in ISAT, reported in ETO 360, and other all propaganda medias, and plus the government, Ethiopian government. So that is the answer for those claims from Mr. Diriba Kumsa or Jaal Marroo. Okay, the next one is, and the last one is the one expected for a long, the third stimulus check. This is already now signed by Joe Biden. It's coming to your account, and this stimulus check has so many good stuff. It is intended to uplift the American lives, help the families, stimulate the economy, help so many things. So I have short report, what is in it, who qualifies, how much you're gonna get. Maybe you already know, but I just, since it's confirmed, I reported before, it was not confirmed before, now it's already a law, money is already coming. A stimulus check is rushing to your bank account, into your bank accounts. Americans will start seeing stimulus checks in their bank account as early as this weekend. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters on Thursday, this weekend. As White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the checks will begin to hit bank account this weekend for those who have their direct deposit information on hand at Treasury Department and at the IRS. If you have direct deposit already set up with IRS and the Treasury Department, the money is coming starting this weekend. If you don't have this one, it may take a while because checks takes a while, just sending a check in the mail. There are so many important aid packages in this historical $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief, which is signed into law by President Joe Biden yesterday. So many things, 1.9 trillion for so many things. As I said, to uplift the American family, to small, to help small businesses, to aid the vaccinations. So many things to help the family. Let's see what is in it. I have some list. What you expected, how much the required income. The first one is $1,400 for individuals making 75,000 yearly income or less. For individuals, 1,400. Second one, for the family or joint married joint filers, when you file the tax, if you filed in joint tax, you will have 2,800, and your income must be 150,000 per year or less for joint income. There's also another help for children, 3,600 annual per child tax credit for kids aged under 6. For children aged under 6. The child credit, per one child is 3,600. And 3,000 per child tax credit aged 6 to 17. So the amount depends on the age of your child. So if your child is 6 to 17, you have 3,000 child tax credit per one child. If your child is 6 and below, you have 3,600 per each child. So that's very, very encouraging for families, in these tough situations. The other one is $300 weekly payment for unemployed workers. For those who lost their job, they have 300 per week. So it could be for 6 months. I don't have that one. Maybe for a year, but it's $300 per week for those unemployed individuals. The other one is 350 billion for state, local aid, as well as billions for K-12 schools to help students to return to the classroom, for small business owners impacted by COVID-19, money for vaccine research, for vaccine development and vaccine distribution. 350 billion assigned for those things, for businesses, small businesses affected by COVID-19, for opening up K-12 schools, so students can safely return to the classroom, and for COVID-19 related vaccine research, vaccine development, vaccine distributions. So a lot of good things, a lot of good things. I just uh, mentioned only some of them. A lot of stuff. Very encouraging, very stimulating stuff in that package. 1.9 trillion. I don't have the whole list, but these are some of the important lists for families with children, individuals with uh, lower income, and for opening up our schools, helping the COVID-19 related research, vaccine development, distributions. So a lot of good stuff. I hope it will revive the economy quickly, so everybody will be start working, families start get out from this challenge, COVID-19 impact, and the disease is also slowing down. Still is not over. We didn't get the vaccination, the shot yet, so we have to keep practicing the guidelines, even though relaxed in some states. We have to keep use common sense, follow the science, listen to the medical stuff. So that is encouraging, but we have to keep listening to doctors until this virus is out of the global community. So that is interesting, and you are expected to get, if you have direct deposit, you are expected to get these checks, this direct deposit very soon, starting this weekend. And if you don't have that one, you will get it through the mail. So that is the comment on the protests happening in DC, New York, European countries. And the Jaal Marroo response to media propaganda and the stimulus check. Now I have two videos to share with you, then I will conclude today's presentation. Thank you again. Let's see. This one might be disturbing. It is about the video recently circulating in different social medias, the atrocities committed in Tigray region by Amhara special forces. So I warn you, it might have very tough language or images, so don't watch with children. It's disturbing, really. I just want to share a little bit part of this video. I don't need the other ones, but when that one is finished, I will stop it. Let's see.
First, Ethiopia's Amhara regions denied that its forces have been systematically massacring communities in the northern region of Tigray. This week, the US accused them of ethnic cleansing for the first time and demanded an end to the abuses. Tigray has been the site of a devastating conflict between federal forces and local TPLF fighters since last November. Ethiopia's downplayed the human cost, but the scale of bloodshed has been hard to independently verify because of an internet blackout in the region. However, accusations abound. Our Observers team has verified a video showing evidence of the massacre of a Tigrayan community. Take a look.
The video is gruesome, too violent for television. It shows bodies on a road outside a Tigrayan village as men in uniform wander around. The man filming insults the victims. The video contains important information that can be used to pinpoint where it was filmed. A composite of different shots reveals the layout of buildings in the village. Other structures can be seen in the distance, groups of trees, a road, and a distinctive ridgeline. The video was filmed at the edge of a village, the village of Mai Hamaz near the monastery of Debre Abiy, at the heart of Tigray region, and the fighting between the Ethiopian army and rebels of the Tigray People's Liberation Front. The video is not from prior conflicts in the region before 2018. We know that because satellite images show that this building under construction in the video did not exist in 2018. Local sources, including eyewitness accounts, say there was a massacre in the village on January 5th, a date that is consistent with the first appearance of the video online. Close examination of the video allows us to plot exactly where the 30 bodies and 2 survivors were located. The man filming speaks in the Ethiopian language Amharic with a southern accent. You see uniforms and boots in good condition, walkie-talkies, an assault rifle. Elements that suggest combatants from the Ethiopian side of the conflict. We asked the Ethiopian government for their reaction. They did not respond.
Well, Thursday marked 1 year since the World Health Organization declared coronavirus a global pandemic. The day saw...
Okay, that's about the Amhara forces, what they did in Tigray. Let's see the other one.
University has championed affordable,
Okay,
accessible,
there's
achievable
I don't
higher
want to
education
the
for
advertising,
everyone.
so give me a few minutes.
Good day and welcome.
And this one is talking about oil leaf. So let's listen to it. It's talking about oil leaf, how strong they are, what they're doing. There we go.
To another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the Voice of Reason. In this episode, we are taking a look at the Oromo Liberation Front. This is a group that is operating against the centralized government located in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, specifically against the Prosperity Party led by Abiy Ahmed. So what is going on with the Oromo Liberation Front that operates in Oromia? Well, it hasn't been as active as it has been until recently. Due to ongoing issues inside of the Tigray region along the border with Sudan, we believe has led to an uptick in operational activity of the Oromo Liberation Front. The exact numbers and personnel that the Oromo Liberation Front is able to deploy is disputed. There are some estimates that the manpower of the OLF could be as high as 5 to 10,000 members, maybe 5,000 active supporters, with several more thousand facilitators that could be operational in various parts of the Oromia province. But again, we're seeing a fairly significant uptick in terms of its operational tempo. We are seeing an uptick in the abilities of the OLF to include operations in which we are seeing company-sized units attacking Ethiopian National Defense Force targets, bases, towns, what have you. These company-sized elements may include up to 60, in some cases to 200 fighters operating with a higher level of command. We are also seeing logistical support in terms of being able to provide field-based medical support to its units, and we're also obviously seeing a media organization that has existed for a while, but again, during these operations by the OLF, we are seeing combat footage. We are seeing, in some cases, prisoners that have been taken captive by the OLF. And again, we assume that the uptick in these operations are occurring because the Ethiopian Defense Forces is looking to other parts of the country to try and tackle ongoing both internal and external issues. How many forces have had to be moved from these areas to deal with issues going on inside of Tigray and launch the invasion of that province? We don't really know, but it is probably significant, and that has led to some forward operating bases of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces put in a position in terms of lacking possible necessary manpower, in which the OLF has taken advantage of that and have launched fairly successful attacks against the Ethiopian National Defense Forces.
Okay, thank you. The voice of reason. I don't know what that is. Just like maybe a name for his media. And this guy, and another one is my view on news. This and other medias actively following what is happening in Oromia region and Tigray region specifically. And they follow the Ethiopian news just like other medias. So he is talking about how the OLF is getting strength in its operation and defending the freedom movement to liberate Oromia from tyrant, from dictators. I also showed you different videos last time. OLF enjoying with local residents, Keros, Kares, those Oromo youth. Really, these are the language Abiy Ahmed and his supporters want to speak, speaking through gun, through conflict, not resolving the conflict through dialogue and reconciliation. So they give names for these freedom fighters, Onek Shane, Batorbe, blah blah, to paint dirt on them, So the society will hate them and fight against them. But the reality is this group is getting strength, is coming up slowly. It is there in the society. It might take time. It's coming slowly. That's why we understand from different videos, from this one and from other videos, OLF is not abolished. It will not be over as long as the Oromo mothers are there. They will rebirth others, give birth to millions who can rise up again, even if the current OLF loses. So the thing is, Ethiopian government must sit down with all stakeholders for stability and peace of that country. It cannot be resolved. We must not repeat the same thing used in the past. You know, it does not work. So the intimidation shown up in Europe and America will not work. And the intimidation, the threatening language, the celebration, you know, shown up, the hate speech, the hate language against the Tigrayans by the Amharas, it will not work. Temporarily, maybe. They think maybe victory is right there. TPLF or people defending the Tigray no longer exist. Prosperity Party is there. That's what they're thinking. But go back, guys. Ethiopian politics will not stable in this way. It should be open to all stakeholders, not to put one party over the other party. Removing TPLF and putting the Amhara dominance in that country will not resolve, under prosperity name, will not resolve the problem of that country. As the Americans, Europeans, and others said, reconciliation, dialogue amongst all stakeholders must be conducted. Not election. Yes, you can conduct elections, but that will not give you peace and stability. So that is the message. And plus, please, peace lovers, those who are fighting for freedom and justice, don't be intimidated by these big numbers you see in support of the dictators in Ethiopia and Eritrea. Don't be intimidated by this anti-federalist group, pro-war crimes, pro-genocide groups who are organized, as I said, by Ginbot 7, pro-Abiy Ahmed media, embassy employees, ambassadors, their families. Don't be intimidated. This will not change the reality on the ground. Keep your resistance, keep speaking up for those voiceless, and keep defending humanity and human rights in that country. And the global community will be with you. The international media will be with you, and they cannot, the international media, the European Union, the American government cannot be intimidated by these threatening protesters, you know, and they have to feel ashamed for standing for war crime, for standing for genocide, for standing for crimes against humanity. And, you know, their claims, Ethiopia, is only when the Amharas are touched. That's why you see, when the Oromos are suffering, when the Benishanguls are suffering, when the Tigrayans are suffering, they don't speak up for them. What that means? These are not Ethiopians? They have to ask themselves what Ethiopians means, whom they are defending. So these are the challenges, and the country is disintegrated, will be disintegrated if we head in this way. You know, we have to find a way to to talk it out, to discuss it, reconcile it, and build a better country for all, fairly. You cannot dominate others. You cannot intimidate others because you have the gun now, or because you have the authority now. These things will be changed. We have to learn from our past mistakes. You cannot win just by using guns, and because everything is in your hand. The legal system, the attorney generals, everything is in your hand. You cannot win. To win, you have to sit down and then negotiate, resolve what are the issues in that country. That is, the important thing. So let's see how fast the check is coming, so we can spend it, revive the economy, and make the United States great again. Thanks to the 2 senators from Georgia, they helped for passing this bill, and thanks to the President Joe Biden for speaking up for all American families who are impacted heavily by this serious virus. Almost 530,000 people died. This is is a very huge number, very huge. Everything is changed. The way we live, the way we shop, the way we do our business, impacted. So this 1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief will help us, will help the country to revive, and we have to keep praying, and let's continue our resistance movement, and don't be intimidated again. Let's continue until freedom is achieved in Ethiopia for all Ethiopians. So thank you for coming to Concerned Citizens, and thank you for spending your time with me. I will be back with other news and comment. So long, everyone.